In this video, we revealed the reason why you never remember the first 3 years of your life. Let's dive in. You know that feeling when someone shows you a picture of yourself as a baby, maybe your first birthday, your first steps, or that time you were covered in cake, and you just stare at it, completely blank. You see your own face, but it's like looking at a stranger. No matter how hard you try, you can't remember anything. Not your first words, not your first toy, not the first time you saw your parents' faces. Why? Why can't we remember the first few years of our lives? Those years that shaped who we are today? Well, today, we're going to break that mystery wide open, because the reason you can't remember those early years is one of the strangest and most fascinating facts about being human. So, let's start with the term itself. Infantile amnesia. That's the scientific name for the fact that almost everyone, and I mean everyone, forgets almost all the memories from their first 3 to 4 years of life. Even if you think you remember something from when you were 1 or 2, chances are it's not a real memory. It's something your brain reconstructed later, maybe from a story your parents told you or a picture you saw. Researchers have been studying this for over a century. Sigmund Freud first coined the term infantile amnesia in the 1890s. He thought it was about repressed trauma, but now we know it's far less dramatic and far more biological. Here's the first big reason. When you were born, your brain wasn't done building itself. In fact, your brain grows faster in the first few years of life than at any other time. Neurons are firing, connections are forming, and new brain cells are being created at incredible speed. This process is called neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons. It's essential for learning, for recognizing faces, understanding language, and figuring out how the world works. But there's a catch. All that brain growth actually overwrites memories. Imagine trying to write a story on a piece of paper while someone else keeps adding new pages and erasing parts of your writing. That's what your brain was doing in those early years, constantly building, reshaping, and rewriting itself. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain that stores long-term memories, simply wasn't mature enough yet. So while your brain was taking in experiences, it couldn't yet store them in a permanent way. Before we get into how your language, culture, and even emotions affect your first memories, if you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. We post more fascinating explanations about the human brain, ancient history, and the mysteries of life, and you won't want to miss what's next. Here's something wild. Memory and language are deeply connected. Think about your earliest real memory. Maybe it's your first day of school, or a birthday around age 4 or 5. Notice something? Those memories usually start around the time you began speaking in full sentences. That's not a coincidence. You need language to organize your experiences. When you can name things agasta like mom, toy, or home, your brain can start labeling memories and filing them away properly. Before that, everything you experienced was sensory. You saw shapes, colors, heard voices, felt warmth, but you couldn't describe it. So your brain didn't yet have the tools to tag those moments with meaning. Without words, memories just float away. So, in a strange way, the reason you can't remember your baby years is because you hadn't learned how to think in words yet. Now let's add another layer: emotion. We remember things that matter to us emotionally. The stronger the feeling, the stronger the memory. When you're a baby, your emotional world is different. You feel hunger, comfort, fear, warmth, but not the complex emotions that make memories stick. It's only when you start forming emotional stories, like, I was scared when I got lost, or I felt proud when I learned to ride a bike, that your brain starts keeping those moments long-term. So between your underdeveloped hippocampus, lack of language, and simple emotional understanding, your brain just wasn't ready to record your life story yet. But what about those people who swear they remember being in the crib, or recall their mother's voice when they were 1 year old. Scientists say it's almost impossible. Those memories are usually reconstructed, made up by your brain later in life, blending family stories, photos, and imagination into what feels like a real memory. Your brain doesn't want a blank beginning, so it fills in the gaps, like a painter finishing the missing parts of an old portrait. It's not lying. It's just trying to make sense of who you are. And here's something beautiful. This forgetting, it's not a flaw. It's part of the design. By forgetting those early years, your brain makes room for what truly matters later on. It's like clearing out the clutter before building something new. That constant neural remodeling, the rewiring, the rebuilding, helps you learn faster, adapt to your environment, and shape your identity. So, ironically, the reason you can't remember your first 3 years is the same reason you became you. So next time you see an old baby photo and feel that strange distance between the person in the picture and the one you are now, remember this. That version of you is still inside your brain, hidden deep within its foundations. You just can't recall those moments, because your mind was still being built to hold the life that was yet to come. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into your own forgotten past, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who's always wondered why we forget where we came from.